Okay. Hi everyone. Hi Kristin.
Hey.
How are you today? I'll do the Zoom kind of virtual wave thing.
Totally. I'm doing fantastic. Just hanging out here at the office. So excited to chat with you about some Peace Van adventures.
Great. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to have you here too. Really looking forward to our little journey we're going to go on today. So just for everyone, Kristin Bacon, she's the editor and proprietress and all things awesome about Sip Magazine. I'm Harley. I'm the owner here at Peace Vans in Seattle, Washington. And we're really excited about this little series we're doing called Peace Out, where we're showing you lots of the tastes and treats and drinks of the Pacific Northwest. Today, Kristin is going to take us to her favorite destination in Washington for beverages, the Columbia River Gorge. But before we start off, Kristin, why don't you just tell me in your words a bit about Sip Magazine and the wonders that is, because we have the publication here from time to time, and I love it. Like, it's just a beautiful magazine.
Thank you. It's definitely a labor of love. We launched the publication just over 10 years ago. We would have had our big 10-year anniversary during COVID, which we had planned to just have a big bash, which we are very known for. So unfortunately, that didn't happen. But hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to celebrate our big decade birthday.
11 years.
Yeah. It'll be almost 11 years. Yeah. So I started the publication, and now it is really kind of a full-on family-run business. My sister, Melissa, is our COO, and my mom's a retired bank exec, and she handles all of our finances. And so we're just a fun little team that loves all the imbibing around the Northwest. So
great. And for those of you that don't know, Peace Vans, we're a leading VW restoration and rental shop here in Seattle. Kristin actually took one of our vans on a journey to the Columbia River Gorge. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. This was actually for my birthday in September, which things were starting to kind of relax a little bit as far as restrictions. And so we were like, let's do it. That was also when there was like torrential downpour.
Right. I remember that week.
Yeah. For like the whole time we were basically gone. But I remember we got our Peace Vans ready to go. And you guys always take a picture of your group before you head out. And we were just like, it was just like, I've never seen rain like that. So
yeah, because you guys were three or four adults in the van, right?
We had 4 adults. Yeah.
Yes, which is so unusual for us. And I remember thinking like, wow, I hope you're all really good friends.
Yeah.
And love each other.
Originally, we had planned that the other couple that we were with was going to camp while we stayed in the van. And that's we were going to set up a whole little camp area. And the weather just did not cooperate for us. But thankfully, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but our friends over at a winery that on the Washington side of the Columbia Gorge had this beautiful plot of land and had an Airstream on there that had been redone and everything. And so they ended up staying in there, and then we stayed in the Peace Van. So it totally worked out, but cool. I don't encourage you to think that you're going to stay with 4 people in a Peace Van.
We actually, I think we actually, I don't say we don't allow it, but the amount of vetting and discussion that goes around that decision,
totally,
you have to really be pushing for it. So let's get started and take us down. But before we sort of leave Seattle, I do want to point out for those of you that are real enophiles and renting a van from us, right around the corner of us is Esquin.
Great wine shop.
Which is, I every time I go in there, I forget how good it is and how helpful they are. So if you're enophiles and you want to start off your journey from Peace Vans with a couple amazing bottles and great service, just ask us. Esquin is literally like around the corner from Peace Vans. You can just pop in there and get some stuff for the road, but only to be drunk while you're after the road trip. We're in a bit of a gray area here.
Yep, totally.
We're not asking anyone to drink while you journey on your road trip. It's only at your destination. So yeah, Kristin, take us to the Columbia River Gorge. Tell us your favorite spots there and all about it.
Yeah. So, I have been traveling. I've been really doing beverage destination traveling for 10 years now. And I've gotten to cruise around all across the Northwest up to BC and everything. And I think that I chose this spot because it's truly like a beverage lover's paradise. And that means you're going to keep everybody happy if they're beer drinkers or wine drinkers or cider drinkers, or just foodies in general. There's something for everyone in the Columbia Gorge. And so when you said Washington, it's really cool because you can be in Washington and Oregon the same day within like 10 minutes, because basically the river separates the two, and there's a couple bridges that go between the Washington and Oregon side. So that's also the super fun thing about this area, is that there are so many things to do there. I mean, if you could go skiing or snowboarding during the day and like windsurf in the afternoon and play golf or go do all of these things. It's kind of like an adventure lover's paradise. So we actually we kind of planned it out when we went to the Columbia Gorge, that we were going to have a day of breweries, and then we were going to have a day of wineries. And so in Hood River, which is really kind of the main city right there in the Columbia Gorge, they are very well known for their brewery scene. And so you can go, we always start out at Double Mountain Brewery. They have the best pizza in all of Hood River. It's absolutely insane.
So what makes it so good? Like pizza, like you can it can be the crust, it can be the toppings, it can be kind of the the style. What makes their pizza your favorite?
It's really everything. It's just such quality ingredients, and honestly, it's like it's not thin crust and it's not thick crust. It's just like perfect crust. I don't know. I mean, I'm not even sure anybody could just really put their finger on what makes this pizza so good. It could be that we're pairing it with beer. That also helps too. But no, it's just, it's wonderful. The people there are so great. It's just a really great spot to hang. And the thing is that a lot of these, even if you don't, obviously you got to have a designated driver. And that was the bonus part of having multiple people in our van. So, but it's also great to just, grab a growler to go from any of these places. Pick up, you can even take pick up the pizza and go back to your campsite, or, wherever you are. But just downtown alone, there's Freem Family Brewers, which is one of my favorites and one of the originals.
And can you spell that, because it's confusing for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is PF as in Frank, RIEM, Freem Family Brewers.
And before we when we chatted a little bit before this, just for the viewing audience, I had I don't want to say near religious experience. I had one of my best beer experiences with their Mexican lager. Like it really, I was like, do I really want to order like an artisanal, Mexican lager? Because I'm a huge Pacifico fan or Sol fan. And I decided to bite the bullet and, pay the premium. And I drank that beer and I was like, it was such an elevated, it's like taking a very common ingredient or, and just really elevating it. And I was just blown away by that specific beer. But tell us more about the other beers they have.
Oh gosh, they're so well known for their IPAs and their barrel aging program. There's something for every beer drinker there, which is awesome. They're also really family friendly too. So the owners have kids, and so when you go in there, there's like a little play area set up, so you can just kind of throw your kids in the area and enjoy yourself and have some beer and some bites. The one good thing with Oregon too, that you don't see as much in Washington, is that most breweries have food. So they are also a full service restaurant, which is really nice. But yeah, Freem also sits right next to Ferment Brewing Company, which is fairly new, but a big, huge new operation over there that also does really incredible beers. It was actually a previous brewer at Freem that's left to start his own, which is literally a block from Freem.
Wow.
Yeah,
And,
it's
and
kind
that's
of
on that's on the Oregon side, you said?
that's on the Oregon side. Yep. All this
Nice.
is right on the
Yeah.
Oregon side. There's also like up, if you kind of take a route, there's like this back road that goes up towards Mount Hood, and you can drop, I mean, you can stop at like so many places. Like there's like amazing fruit stands called the Gorge White House, where like amazing fruit, but they also have hard cider on draft there and a really cool food truck. And if you keep just making your way up, you'll find Solera Brewing, which is like off the beaten path right at the base of the mountain. It's like, it's dreamy. Like, I don't think I've seen another brewery with the landscape that you're sitting outside and just this majestic mountain is like in your face. It's so wonderful.
Oh, wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's what I would say is like the brewery day. I mean, you just, and then the thing, like we said, like you're driving, you're cruising around, like pick stuff up just to take back with you to wherever you guys are staying. If it's at one of the hip camps which there's ton of those around.
Yeah, there's so many great ones around Mount Hood and right around there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So that kind of wraps up our beer day. The next day we did a whole wine day, and we decided that we wanted to do it on the Washington side, which again is literally a quick bridge, one toll. I think it costs $1 to get over there. But the Washington side is called Lyle and I think White Salmon, that kind of whole area. But there are like world-class award-winning wineries there. The one place that we stayed at, and I have to give them a huge shout out, is Aniche Cellars. It's a mom and daughter winery operation. It's a whole family operation, but they make fabulous wines, reds, whites, you name it. They've got this adorable little spot where you can sit out and kind of overlook the whole Columbia Gorge. That's another thing. It's like, as you change in elevation, it's like, it's the most stunning views you've ever seen. Like I have probably 200 pictures from our trip over there because
it's interesting. You know, a lot of our renters and a lot of people watching, you know, they kind of, you know, I'd say almost half of our renters go to the Olympic Peninsula. Then a bunch do, you know, the San Juan Islands, and really the Columbia Gorge is a real undiscovered gem.
Not so undiscovered now, but yeah, I mean,
relatively speaking,
surprising. It is surprising to know that not as many people go there as they should. But yeah, there's so many gems within that area to discover. So. Yeah. And so just kind of continuing on that, the whole wine path, you can really do about anywhere from like 4 to 5 wineries in a day. And I believe that we're going to be dropping in after this kind of the list of suggestions, just because I'm guessing that most people aren't fully taking notes right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll have a full recap with notes and transcribed and all these links to all these awesome places.
Awesome. Well, a couple just really great experiences that we had. Again, that was Aniche, and then we had Core Cellars, which is a super cool, very like boho chic winery, and they put together a really cool tasting for you. And this was during the pandemic that we were there, and we felt safe. Like they respect the 6-foot rule. Everybody, you know, had their own little spots. You can rent a little yurt for tasting there, and it comes with a little blanket and your whole tasting flight and everything, which is just it's a really awesome experience. So
it's great. And what kind of what varietal, what do you recommend there, like wine wise?
I mean, it's interesting because their wines are pretty value driven. I remember I had a Merlot that was just amazing there. Some of their blends are great. Their white wines are awesome. The one thing that you get with the Columbia Gorge is that I think they have like over 50 different varietals planted in the region, which, I mean, versus like going to Willamette Valley where majority of everything is Pinot Noir or Chardonnay, you have like such a wide range. And again, it's like you'll find something for every palate when you go to the wineries here, because it's so diverse with what they're producing. So.
Wow. And let's talk about your van experience briefly. Where did you spend your nights on your trip? Like, Do you
So
remember?
we stayed at this winery, Aniche Winery.
I thought so. How was that?
It was fantastic. I mean, honestly, it was just like absolutely crazy weather. Like they had
Yeah.
huge like carnival tent that was up that they were going to start using for tastings. And we left one day and there was some water like billowing like in the tent. And I was like, we should get that water out because that looks like it's going to like crash. And
Yeah.
so we left for a few hours and came back and we're looking up at the hill where the winery is and the whole tent has imploded on itself.
Oh, no.
All the like there was these huge metal rods that were holding it up that are all bent. So it was wild, but we stayed dry in the Peace Vans. We put our little the awning out. We hung out there even when it was raining. And then our friends just retreated to this wonderful Airstream at the end of the night so that we weren't all stuck together. So we made it work. I mean, and that's why I'm like so excited to get back out there and do this during the spring or summer when weather is better because I mean, we literally got the worst weather possible and it just made for a really fun adventure, to be honest.
Yeah. Where did you stay the other night? Because you were gone 2 nights, is that right?
We were gone 3 nights, and we actually stayed there all 3 nights because it just was easiest for us. Totally, great. And it was like really like it was perfect proximity to kind of everything that we were trying to do while we were in town. So
right. And what about sort of like day trips from there? Like, so we've talked about some wineries and breweries, like other like hot spots in the Columbia River Gorge you love?
Totally. Yeah. If there's a sleepy little town called Stevenson, Washington, that is right over the Bridge of the Gods, which is a super cool and hella sketchy bridge that you go over. But it's if you haven't done it and you go there, you have to go over there just to say that you've done it. But that's the home of like Skamania Lodge. It's also the home of who's that guy that Fabio lives there.
Like Fabio, right.
Yes. Right. And so one time we were eating at the lodge at the restaurant and they're like, oh, there's Fabio. I was like, yeah, right. And nope, it was Fabio. And he hangs out at the bar all the time there. It's hilarious. But the Skamania
that's what passes for celebrity in that part of Washington.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I mean, all the ladies over 50 were like, woohoo. But no, the Skamania also has like a bunch of really cool stuff. They have a zip line there. And they have like this whole like aerial park and axe throwing, which I don't suggest you do that after you've been drinking at all. It's very dangerous.
Yes. I would almost say of all the activities one could do after tasting wines and beers, axe throwing sounds like something my insurance company would say. No. We're actually not allowed to put hatchets. Actually, this year we're finally allowed to put like hatchets for firewood in the van.
Oh, so, nice.
I think axe throwing would be not a permitted thing to do.
So let's just say I didn't say that. They have other, again, the zip lining, I'm sure would be fantastic. And then there's a couple breweries over in that area too. So there's Backwoods Brewing. Again, they have phenomenal food in addition to their beer. And what else is over there? On that side is Everybody's Brewing. I mean, there are seriously like 20 different breweries in this area. Right. Thunder Island.
I feel like we should work on like a really dedicated itinerary.
Totally. I mean, I would love to work with you on that. I mean,
it'd be a lot of fun to put that because a lot of people, we get so many requests when people pick up their van. I mentioned Esquin in the opening, but we get a lot of requests for growler fills. Like, hey, we'll supply you with a growler, and we're not legally allowed to fill them, but we'll send you to like Georgetown Brewing or into Ballard to one of the dozen breweries there to go fill up a couple growlers for the road trip.
Totally.
I think having a destination that really like offered that would be fantastic.
I mean, if you had a growler, you literally could fill it up from 10 different places in just like, a 3-block radius. So you've got plenty plenty of choices. So.
Yeah. So while we have you, and you're such a valuable resource, so that's the Columbia River Gorge. Like, what about for our folks that may not be headed there? Like, what would you say are your top, and I'm putting you on the spot here, and we didn't rehearse this, but your top like 3 to 5 destination beverage, like drinking spots in the state. Like if I'm going to build, like, for us, some people build an itinerary around like Willow's Inn on Lummi, or the oyster stuff on the on the peninsula. Like on the beverage side, like, do you have any places that you think you could like build a trip around? Like, oh my God, you have to go here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I would say one being, this is not just Washington, because I kind of think of it as in like the drive markets of Seattle, right? So, within like 5 hours, but Bend, Oregon's always a favorite. Again, it's very kind of similar to Columbia Gorge, where there are so many great outdoor activities, but also anchored by a really amazing beer industry. And in fact, a lot of Washington wineries are opening up tasting rooms in Bend because they don't have vineyards over there, but they have a lot of wine lovers. And so they found the opportunity that, okay, let's put a tasting room in there. And so Drew Bledsoe has one there. A couple other Walla Walla wineries have just recently opened up. So Bend is awesome. Again, if you are into outdoor sports, Mount Bachelor's right there. There's lakes, rivers, hiking, rock climbing. I mean, everything you can imagine. So Bend,
you mentioned Walla Walla. Like
Walla Walla is going to be my next spot.
Let's talk about it. Walla Walla is really.
I'll actually be there next week, broadcasting our full tour episode from there next Thursday.
Have you ever stayed at the Lark there? Is that the name of the hotel down to the Lark or the Finch?
The Finch. That's where I'm staying.
Are you? Okay. Take it offline, but I'm really good friends with the people that own it, and they're lovely people. Yeah,
I'm super excited. I'm going to be staying there. Walla Walla is so awesome. It's such a great it's a small town, and you really get that. People are so kind. There's so much again to do. I mean, that really is a beverage destination because there's not as much outdoor activities. It's more about imbibing and eating.
We've had people spend 2 or 3 nights there and just bring their bikes or walk from destination to destination.
In downtown, I mean, that main street right there, I think there's about 40 different tasting rooms and a lot of just really incredible food. You could just spend a whole day just hanging out downtown Walla Walla and checking things out. So, and again, it's such a small town feel. So most of the time when you go into these wineries, the owner or winemaker is there, it creates kind of a different, experience for you. I mean, I've traveled to Napa and Sonoma, and it's so generic. When you walk in, you're like, they have they're giving you the same spiel that they're giving the people right next to you, no matter what your knowledge, so it's just not like that. I'm super excited. This is going to be my first time back to Walla Walla since the pandemic. And I'm used to going at least once a month. So, so Walla Walla, yes, I highly suggest it.
And then sort of number 3, is there somewhere else you think is like a real hot spot or undiscovered spot in Washington State?
Undiscovered spot.
A spot you love.
Undiscovered spot. I didn't think about this before I got here.
I don't want to give up your best,
I would say probably Chelan. Chelan has grown up a lot in the past several years and has really become kind of just stepped up their hospitality and
grown out of their awkward teen years, I feel like.
It was just we went there for summer vacation,
Right, and now it's kind of now it's getting a little more sophisticated and
totally. And they're all their food over there is better, and so many great wineries, and a lot more vineyards have been planted too, which like makes for a more beautiful landscape, you know, because you've got that gorgeous Lake Chelan and then just like vineyards surrounding you. So it's pretty majestic place.
Right. And then 2 final questions, then we'll take questions from the audience. And this has been so much fun. I feel like I could keep going for another half hour.
I know. I've seen some of these.
I know. And I'm getting like hungry and thirsty too.
Totally.
But it's the middle of the day for those watching live. But so a lot of our renters, I said, are two of our most popular routes are the Olympic Peninsula and the San Juan Islands. You want to just throw out like one place on each of those that you think are like, you know, I mean, I've got some in mind, but I'd be curious to hear, you know, what you think of those 2 destinations and not miss places.
Yeah. In fact, I have a trip planned on April 10th, and we are going to Orcas Island. And Orcas is one of my favorites, but we are going to take a day trip over to Friday Harbor because I also love Friday Harbor. But Orcas has, first of all, they have the Rosario Resort, which I've never had a better massage in my whole entire life than I did there. So I will be booking that again. Their downtown is so charming and also like has a great wine shop. The
Dobe Wine Company is really, I mean, they're really sweet people and are, really great selection.
Cole is a good friend. In fact, I'm going to be picking up beers from Seattle to bring to his shop when we go over there. So, So Orcas is great, and they've got a great cocktail bar there, and Island Hopping Brewery or something like that, which has some great beers. So.
Yeah.
And then you said the Olympic Peninsula.
Yeah, on the peninsula, like one spot. You think is
probably Port Townsend, I would say. We also publish another magazine called Cidercraft, which is the only cider publication in the world.
Hyper niche.
Yeah, very. And Port Townsend is like, they've got so many incredible cideries over there. Again, just like that's totally another great beverage destination, and it's beautiful.
We send people to Finn River a lot. Finn River is just for our families. It's just a fantastic stop on that itinerary.
Absolutely. They're doing so many great things. I mean, they just are like solid gold humans.
Just how they support the community and it's really, I mean, it's lovely people. We recommend that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So as everyone who's been listening know, I mean, Washington State and, you know, that sliver of Oregon just across the Columbia River Gorge. Don't want to leave our friends in the 503 out or the 50. I can't remember.
Oh gosh, what is it? 530.
I know. Yeah. So, but we don't leave them out. But I mean, there's amazing like just beverages throughout the state. I think if you're watching from out of town, which a lot of our renters fly in, and you're wondering, am I going to get world-class wine and beer? I think the answer is,
120%.
Right.
I mean, look at all of it in the back of my office.
I know. See, I know. I love that. Unfortunately, I don't actually have some hand sanitizer from a local 2-bar.
Oh, nice.
Distillery. They're really close by, and we offer our renters a 20% discount on anything they swing by and pick up there on their way out of town too.
Awesome. What a great partnership.
Yeah, they're great. Nate and team are great. I guess we got a few minutes left, got about 2 or 3 minutes left for questions. Are there any questions? If you picked up a growler in Seattle, how long would it last on the road? And any favorite breweries near us?
So if you don't open it at least 2 weeks, sometimes it'll last up to a month. But as soon as you open it, I would say like drinking it within the next 2 days. Just to have optimal freshness. But
we offer Hydro Flask brand growlers.
Yeah, those are the best out of Bend, Oregon.
Yep, exactly right, out of Bend.
They are my favorite.
Yep, there we go. And local breweries near us, the closest is Georgetown Brewing. It's literally like on the way out of town, and just some classic beers at Georgetown. I mean,
amazing.
I'm going to say it wrong, but the Bodhizafa. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean,
That
that's, yeah.
that
Yeah.
won a couple years ago at the Great American Beer Festival, the #1 IPA in the country.
Are you
So
serious? I had no idea.
it is legit one of my favorite beers.
Huh.
It's also my husband's favorite beer.
Yeah, it is one of my top beers too. So yeah, that's a great, if you're a beer fan and you pick up your van, it's literally 10 minutes from the shop. And then you can swing by the rest of Georgetown
Totally.
and
There's
pick up.
Great Notion Brewing right there.
Yeah,
There's Tint Cellars, a winery right there.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
Jellyfish Brewing. I mean, there's so much. Lowercase Brewing. There's a ton going on in Georgetown.
Yeah, I feel like we need to create a little Georgetown quick stop on the way out of town thing, 'cause it's so close to us. I mean, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
definitely.
Any other questions?
Well, I see one from Erin, and she was asking about what non-alcoholic beverages there are in the Columbia Gorge. Well, I would suggest going to the Gorge White House because, again, they are a fruit farm and they do all like fresh pressed juices and their own sodas and everything. But again, I mean, you can get a non-alcoholic something at any place you go.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Other questions? Recommend any activities or places to stop on the way down to Hood River from Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ways that you can go. You can go to Portland and down that way, which is, I mean, you could stop in Portland or, stop at like their little like food truck village that they have, or while you're kind of cruising down there, Stevenson, Washington, like I said, like that's kind of Skamania area, is really great to just pop off and have some lunch. There's Thunder Island Brewing on your way into Hood River that they just opened a new, tap room that sits on the river, and it's like absolutely gorgeous. So it's about 20 minutes outside of town, but on your way in there. It just depends on what you're looking to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking to stop off and like throw in a, kite surfing or something, you absolutely can do that. Just depends on what you're seeking, I guess.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you're headed down on that itinerary, just reach out to us and we can help you build that perfect first day out of town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Other questions? Any other ideas for camping in that area? I think you hit upon a great one, Kristin, which is, just Mount Hood.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's so much there. And, in our vans, we often get asked, can I boondock in your vans, which means like stay in like an undesignated or unimproved campground. And if you're comfortable with that and you listen to our guidance and you follow best practices, there's some really great spots, national forest campsites, in the Mount Hood area that I highly recommend, especially in those long summer nights. So you may not be getting to your campsite till 5 or 6, but there's still many hours of light left.
And in fact, we had planned to do that, like to find a really cool spot, like off, the National Forestry roads. But weather just did not permit because we were not having a fire. We weren't getting outside of that van. So it didn't work out. But for spring and summer, absolutely. It's just magical forest land everywhere around there. You can find a spot essentially anywhere. And we didn't have a plan, honestly. When we first left, we were like, that's what we were going to do. We were just going to find a spot. And we just kind of, you can be nimble as you want in a Peace Vans because you're on wheels. Yeah. So that's the coolest thing about it.
Yeah, it is really, I'm biased, but it is an incredible vacation option.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think we're out of time. Kristin from Sip Magazine, this has been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
We're so passionate about the food and beverages in our state and available to our renters. And with so many people coming from out of town and out of this country, well, maybe not so much this year in 2021, but it's just such a privilege and gift to offer this exposure and perspective that it really is a world-class food and beverage destination.
Definitely. And if
Yeah.
I might just promo, our spring issue of SIP just dropped yesterday. So for everybody that's out there, we are going to put in the link to the digital version for you to view. So
Great.
our treat to you guys to kind of explore the whole Northwest beverage scene even deeper. So we'll drop those drop that in the comments for everybody that's on. So.
Yeah, and for our renters, we'll make sure, if you're actually an active renter, we'll make sure to include a link to SIP Magazine in your upcoming emails. So, Kristin, have a great day. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm excited to continue to work with you to surface these wonderful beverage destinations for people that are, rent with us or interested in learning about our perspective.
I love it. Well, I appreciate you having me, and thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon, everyone.